Now, with utmost love and respect, I grew up in an era where the default fatwa, at least in the people that I associated with and the lands and the masajid I visited, and those of you who have been here in the 80s, you know this, the default fatwa back then was that Muslims should be out of politics, and that voting should not be done, and the notion that it is haram or kufr was also very prevalent. It was very prevalent at the time that Muslims should not be involved in politics. And generally speaking, religious folks were apolitical, and those Muslims that were involved in politics were not that religious. Unfortunately, that type of dichotomy has still remained to this day. Our Muslim activists, those that are involved in the media, those that are involved in the political sphere, unfortunately, generally speaking, they're not of the practicing Muslims. And generally speaking, to this day, people like us in this community and all over the masajid, generally speaking, we frown and disdain upon political engagement. And this is a dichotomy that is not healthy for the community. It is not good for our ummah where this type of difference exists. However, I want to address this notion head on. We had a number of concepts we were raised with when I was a young man. And of them was this prevalent notion that you can never be a part of this land, that they are different than us and we are different than them, and you can never really truly fully be an American. And this was a notion that was quite explicitly taught, that you're not allowed to consider yourself to be a part of this land. But again, you study the seerah, you read the books of fuqaha, and you interact with genuine bona fide ulama, actual ulama, and not because again, ilm is of levels. And the fact of the matter is, somebody who studied 4 or 5 years and graduated from an undergraduate is not the same as an allama who has studied 50 years. They are not the same. And most of the people that we interact with, they are, basic level graduates. With respect to them, we need them. Most of the graduates that come here, they study 4 or 5 years and they are capable of copying and pasting from the books they've studied. But original thought cannot be found amongst a 5-year graduate. Actual ijtihad cannot be done by a level 1 graduate. For that, you need to go to the senior ulama, those that are 70, 80 years old, those that have spent a lifetime in ilm. And frankly, when you go to them, the whole discourse changes. And this is around the globe in all strands of Islam. Every strand of Islam, Salafis, Sufis, Deobandis, Tablighis, all of these strands of Islam, go to your top-notch 1% ulama, go to the actual movers and shakers amongst your own strands, and generally speaking, you will find them all on a similar wavelength in regards to living as a minority over here. And they will all say to you, well, it is your land, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and do nothing. It is your land, you have to make an impact. And if there's 2 evil politicians, you choose the lesser of 2 evils. This is the general rule. You will find it amongst all such top ulama, amongst all of them the same, because this is what actual ijtihad gives you, not level 1 copying and pasting from the classical books. Real ulama understand that theory is sometimes different from practical reality, and theory at times has to be modified for the world that you live in. So this notion that voting is kufr and democracy is kufr, I'm sorry, it is a very simplistic, a very false construction of some principles of theology that are misunderstood. And if you wanted to say that, oh, voting is haram, we should not vote, well then, what are you going to do about your identity, your citizenship? You swore an oath to the Constitution. You wanted to get technical? Some people can say that seems to be, I'm saying it seems to be, I don't believe it is. Some people can say that seems to be a bigger kufr, but nobody says anything there. You all went and gave your allegiance, you all went and got your citizenship. I'm sorry to be blunt here, but we have to get rid of this mentality. If you have clerics that are still saying this, they should literally just be sidelined because they're living in a different time zone, a different bubble. Voting is not haram. And the fact that you are voting is not an indication that you endorse every kufr out there. This endorsement of kufr, it is an accusation that comes from the minds of simple fundamentalists. Neither your heart nor the broader public understands this. You participating in a democratic process is not a tacit endorsement of hukum. It is not at all. It is simply acknowledging, I need to choose the lesser of 2 evils. This person might massacre 1,000,000 people. This person might not massacre 1,000,000 people. I have to save 1,000,000 people. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying you must vote in every single election. I'm saying conceptually, the notion that voting is kufr and haram, it needs to now be eliminated from our minds. And I hope nobody in our generation believes this.